Hello, this is Joanne Hewins. I am from LoveToCreate.typepad.com and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Today we're going to talk about how to make this card. The lion is suspended on fishing line. It can twirl and you can see the back of the lion. So let's get started. We're going to use several different stamp sets today. We're going to use a Little Wild to get the front and the back of the lion. This is a tag set. It's in the babies and kids section of the catalog, annual catalog. We're also going to use Tropical Chic as a stamp set. We're going to use the saying from Animal Outing, The Wild About You. And then on the inside, we're going to use the For Your Birthday from Birthday Cheer. So quite a few of those stamp sets. And let's start with the base of the card. And this is 5.5 by 8.5. And I'm just going to match my corners and fold that in half. Oftentimes I go ahead and score that, but I didn't today. And then the paper that we're going to be using is from the Tropical Espcape set that's in the annual catalog. So I used this piece for the first card. I'm going to use this one for the second. And I'm going to end up cutting a hole out of this. So I want to make sure that I put my adhesive where I need it to go. I'm using the Layering Circles Framelits, and I'm going to turn my paper over. I'm going to just lay this framelit here to help me know kind of where that circle will be. I don't want to have tape back there. So let me kind of put this in the middle here. And I'm going to put a little bit of tape kind of around that. Hope you can see that. And now we'll put it on the front of the card. Now the base is shaded spruce. And I cut this designer paper at 4 1/8, I'm sorry, by 5 3/8. I just wanted a little bit of that outline to show. Now the next thing we'll need to do for this is cut out the circle. But I think I'm going to fix it so we do all of our big shot stuff at the same time. So we're also going to need leaves and flowers for this. And for that, I'll be using the Tropical Chic set. We'll be using the leaf and the flower. So I'll be using shaded spruce for the leaf, and we're going to need 2 of those. And I am going to be cutting these out. There's our leaves. And then for the flower, I'm going to be using Blushing Bride. And we'll need 2 of those. And it won't matter that I have that little spot there because we are cutting it out. So we have that. And the next thing that we're going to need is the lion that comes from this A Little Wild set. And I'm going to be inking that up with the Memento Black because we're going to color this with our blends. And let's see if I have room here to... I think I'll just put that on another piece. Okay, So I'm going to go ahead and color that. And we'll be using some of these neutrals for that. We'll be using light crumb cake, ivory, the light petal pink, and the light and dark soft suede for that. So let's get going. I'm going to use the light petal pink inside of his ears here. I might put a little bit here on his cheeks. I don't think I did that on the first one, but that's okay. And then I'm going to use the ivory to color in the face. And I'm going to get the tail on the back piece and the front piece in the ivory, the end of the tail. And then we'll color in the face. Now I'm going to tell you that I don't have a lot of artistic ability as far as knowing how to blend and where to put things. I just do what I think looks good, and I think that's what you can do too. And I'm just adding a little bit of the light crumb cake, just kind of around the edges. A little bit there, and then I'm going to get this dark suede, soft suede, and color in that nose. Then I'm going to go to the light soft suede and color in the rest of this. I'm trying to go as quick as I can, so I probably will get out of the lines. And I'm really just coloring it all in. I don't have my color lifter in here with me, so probably would have used that on that tail there, but that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of the dark. I think I'm just going to put some here and there on the mane, just to make it interesting. Put some right under the mane, and then down here on the feet. I'll put a little bit. Okay, so we'll just blend that back in with the light soft suede. Actually, it's kind of blended a little on its own, it looks like. So I'm not really going to do a lot up there on the mane to blend that. Okay, and then we'll turn around and do the back. And I'm doing that again with the light soft suede and really just coloring it in. These blends are just wonderful because I don't think you really have to have a lot of talent as far as knowing where shading goes and that kind of thing. You can just give it some dimension. And it looks good. Okay, and I'm just going to come back in here and just do some darker pieces here and there. I'm not even trying to get it in a certain spot, just some shading, and then we'll do a little bit down here on this foot. Okay. So we'll go back over it with the lighter soft suede. Okay. that. So we'll be cutting out the circle in the front using the layering circles. Then we'll be cutting out our leaves and flowers. We'll be using the Tropical Framelits, these two pieces. And then we'll be cutting our lion out, and we'll be using the Little Loves Framelits, and this is the lion. So let me go ahead and pull in the big shot, and we'll take care of all of that. Okay, and I'm using the thin die adapter along with the big shot platform, clear plate, and let's get going. I think I'll start with the card front, and I'm going to open the card and just center that circle. Go back and forth on that because we're going through a couple of different surfaces. So there's that, and here's our circle that we're going to need a little bit later. So that's done. Okay, let's do our lion. And I probably could do a couple of these at the same time, the flower and the leaf, but I think I'll do better if I just take the time to do it one at a time. So there's our lion, and it is hooked together because it's a tag and even has the hole there so that you could tie that tag on if you need to. And then we have our leaves and flower. And I could use the magnetic plate for this. I've just gotten to where I just as soon use this one. And sometimes I do use washi tape to help hold that into place. I'm just going to hope right now that this all works. So there's one leaf and flower, and we'll need one more set. Okay. All right, so we have all of our pieces now. So I'm going to set the big shot back out of the way. So we have our card front. We have our lion and our flowers and leaves. Okay, and what I'm going to do next is the leaves and flowers. So I'm going to go ahead and attach those. I'm going to use my glue, and first I'm going to just cut those stems right off of the leaves. We're not going to need them. And I'll add the glue. And we're going to do one leaf down here. And the other one I'm going to put right there at the circle up in this corner. And then we'll add our flowers along with that. So one will go here, and the other one will go here. Actually, I'm going to pull those back off. I always do something a little wacky. because we want to, and even though that looks bad, I'll just put them back in the same place. We want to put the other stuff before we do that. I'm going to take this lion, and right across there, I'm just going to cut it in half. And then I'm going to put them front to back so that they match. And I'm just going to cut around this through both layers so that they look the same from each side. Well, I'm having a hard time getting right in that little spot there, but there we go. All right, let's talk about the fishing line and getting that in there with our lion. I'm going to take some tear and tape and just put it right down the center of the lion. And I don't have my pokey tool with me, or my pick it up tool. And I have gone down a little bit below down here, so I'm just going to roll that back up. And this is the fishing line I'm using. And I'm just going to take a length of that. Now I know that you can't see that on the camera. So I'm just going to lay some. You can see the end in one hand here. But I'm just going to lay it down the center of that and come down here and cut that. That's more than I need, but that's good. That's okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of glue around the rest of the lion and glue those together. So now I have the fishing line going right through the middle of the lion. Okay, you can see there it would twirl. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I want to really attach that well. So I'm going to put a little bit of my tear and tape here, and I'm going to put a little bit of it down here at this end. I'm going to pull those edges up, or pull that top layer off of that. And now I'm going to put my lion in the center of the hole, and then put my fishing line so that it goes on top of the tear and tape to hold it in line. And just to be safe, I'm going to put another layer of the tear and tape on top of that. Now when you do this, be careful you don't cut your fishing line. And I think I'm going to bring in my bone folder and just burnish that a little. We'll pull that back up. Okay, and then we are ready to, I left out a part of what we need to do with the Big Shot. So let me find my circles. I'm going to pull this back out of the way. Get this back in. And I'm going to need to make my frame. So this is the circle that I started out with a while ago that I cut out of the main card front. And then I've picked a scallop circle that's a little bit larger. And I'll use that to make my frame. So I'm just going to cut both of those out at the same time. And I'm just going to back it up just so that it's here where I need it to be. So here are the pieces for the frame that I'll need. So I'm going to back that up again. And straighten up my camera a little. Sorry about that. And we'll take this piece, add some glue to the back of it. And you don't need to be real heavy-handed because you don't want it to come out from the edges. And then I'm going to place that right around the circle. Okay, now we're ready to put our flowers on. I don't like that ugly little spot looking out at me, so I'm going to go ahead and do it. Covered. All right, now I'm going to take my snips, and this extra line I'm going to cut out here on these edges. Okay, so that's pretty much it for the front. We're going to pull back in some white scrap. And the saying is from the Animal Outing stamp set that I showed earlier. We're going to stamp that in shaded spruce. And we're just going to cut around the words. So let me just kind of cut this. And then we're just going to use our snips. In our sample, you can see we just put it down here. Oops. Okay, so there's our U. And I just did that because I wanted this saying, but it just was too big to go in there the way it was. And I like to cut. So there's the about. And our wild. So that would be glued right on there. Turn those over. Okay, so there those are. Now, for the next thing, we're going to put a piece of Whisper White on the inside of the card. This is 4 by 5 1/4. And we're going to place this piece that we took away inside, but we want it to match that circle. So what I'm going to do is lay this down. I think I'll put some adhesive on the back. And what I want to do is match the paper. So I'm looking for that leaf right there, the top of that leaf. And that's pretty good. So I'm just going to push that down there. We're going to stamp our saying up at the top, which was for your birthday. We're going to do that in soft suede. Oh gosh. Shaded spruce. Okay, and then we're going to need one more flower down here in the corner. And there you have it. That's the end of the card. So you can see it closes. It will twirl. I think you could probably keep twirling it like this and close it, and then when somebody would open it, it would do that. Haven't really tried that in an envelope. If you need supplies to make this card, you can go to lovetocreate.typepad.com, and there will be links there to my store. I'll also link this video to my store. I also want to thank you. I've got over 170 subscribers now, and that is just so exciting. Thank you if you subscribed, and if you haven't, please do. Thank you, and bye-bye.